I'm Maneesh Agrawala, and what I want to show you today is some of the work that we've been doing in my lab on building tools for content creation, in particular for making and editing video. And so I want to start with this. Anyone know what this is? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, almost. It turns out that this is a shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And this was made by three 12-year-olds starting in 1982. And this movie, they made the whole movie, and it is amazing. If you ever have a chance to check this out, you should check it out. It's a literal recreation of the film. And this is a very inspirational project for me. When I was 12, I would have loved to have been able to make something like this. And I would argue that even today, this is something that I would like to be able to make. And I want to point out that it was time-consuming for them to figure out all the costumes and locations. They luckily had a script and a film to go on. So a lot of the work in putting this together was already done for them. And yet, the time-consuming thing was going out and figuring out where to shoot and get the costumes together. That, they have said, was really, really fun. The other very time-consuming aspect of putting together this media was editing it. So they had to take all of that raw footage, and at the time, they used 2 Betamax machines and did tape-to-tape transfers for every edit in the film. Okay? So it was extremely tedious for them. And that was, they say, not the fun parts of making this. And so one of the things that we've been thinking a lot about is how to let people more easily create this kind of story, this kind of video. Now, I think all of us will agree that the combination of this device with websites like Facebook and YouTube, or more recently Snapchat and TikTok, have really changed the way that we capture and share video stories. And the best videos today can really be viewed by millions of people. It's sort of amazing that over 2 million people have seen this film, okay? And in fact, there's some videos that have been seen by billions of people, and that number is sort of unfathomable. But creating this kind of high-quality video production, it requires paying very careful attention to the story design, to editing, and production. So most of the video that we see on YouTube today, they don't look anything like this. They look a lot more like this, okay? So this is my son. He's 3 years old when we took this video. And I don't know about you, but I have tons and tons of this kind of video on my phone. Okay, I think he wanted to show me a new kind of dance move that he was learning to do, and I thought there was something interesting here. But going back to it, I can't even figure out what I was that interested in it in the first place. Okay, and this is not the only thing. So I also have video of him that's more like this.
It's your second day of school, right? What are you excited about?
Playing.
Good. Anything you want to say to the camera?
Okay, and if you take video of little kids, they will spend a lot of time turned away from the camera, not really listening to what you want. This is a long video. It's like 10 or 15 minutes of him just kind of trying to talk and respond, but not really doing it. There are some really nice moments in there, okay? But there are only a few moments, and going back and finding those moments and editing down to those moments, that is really, really time-consuming. I just haven't taken the time to do that. And so the question really is, why? Why don't we edit these things? And what I'll argue later is that today's interfaces just don't let you do that very easily. So the challenge is that the statistics all suggest that people want to create and share audiovisual stories. But as we've seen, the raw media itself usually isn't that compelling, right? The raw media is often just too long. It only has a few, seconds of good pieces in it. And so, the best stories that we have are very carefully planned and edited and produced. And so we need higher level tools for creating and telling these kinds of video stories. And we want tools that operate at a much higher level, that let the user really specify the overall design direction, the story, the narrative, and let the machine handle the lower level details of putting things together. And so I want to show you a few projects that we've done in this space. I'm going to start by focusing on editing talking head videos, and then I'm going to show you some work we've done on remixing videos. So first, talking head style video. And by talking heads, what I really mean are a fixed camera on a person who's talking to the camera. And you see this all the time in things like broadcast news or documentary, talk shows, promotional video, and so on. And it's not uncommon to capture hours and hours of material that has to be edited down to just a few minutes in the final edit. And the problem with doing this, the problem with editing, is that we all have to work with interfaces that look like this, okay? And, there's a lot of surface complexity here because these tools offer a lot of capabilities, okay? But I think one thing that is wrong with these tools is that you spend all of your time when you're editing scrubbing a timeline. The underlying representation of the video is timecode based, all right? So in order to find the highlights, you have to scrub through that video back and forth. In order to find where you're going to put in cuts, how you're going to move pieces together, if you've done any video editing, you've probably spent a lot of your time just scrubbing that timeline again and again. And so really these tools all use the wrong underlying representation. And the big issue here is that for this kind of video in particular, people don't even think about the underlying video in terms of timecode or frames. They think about it much more in terms of the underlying content, right? The words, the sentences, the paragraphs that people are speaking. And so what we want to do is build tools that let users navigate and edit this video using a transcript-based representation. All right, so this is what our system looks like. It has a standard player and timeline view, as you see here. And then it also has this new transcript view on the right. That transcript is accurate and time-aligned to the video. So
what we're trying to do is to bring to our customers the tools that will allow them to express.
Okay, so this is the kind of alignment that we have. And already this is very, very useful because now in order to navigate this video, I can read the text. Reading is much faster than playing video or scrubbing it. And I can just click on a word and I'm right at that point in the video. Okay. This is what the interface actually looks like. So here in the transcript view, ums and uhs and repeated words are highlighted in red. These are things that we might want to remove from the video, cut out of it. And we also have these vertical blue bars, and these are bars that indicate places where our system thinks that if you specify a cut between two of those bars, it can produce what we call a smooth hidden transition. You won't see the jump if you remove all of the frames between those two bars. Okay? And to show you what I mean, here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove this phrase. So I highlight a phrase, I press the cut button, and I generate a smooth transition. And so what I want you to do is watch this person's hands. They're going to move very, very smoothly. Okay?
Of making the story. And
Okay, and just for comparison, here's the version with a jump cut. And here, the hands are going to jump.
Of making a story. And
All right, and again, for comparison, the smooth version.
of making a story. And
All right, so that's the kind of thing we're able to produce. And just to give you a sense of how this works, the system is kind of divided into three main components. We have this first component that takes the video in. We obtain a high-quality transcript for the video. When we did this work, we were using a crowdsourcing service that would get us a very, very accurate transcript. And then we have our own tools that will time align that text to the speech. Okay, and that's what gives us the transcript view over on the right. And then here in the middle, we're analyzing the video frames. We're looking for places where the person is silent, places where the person is not moving around too much. Those indicate good places to cut, and that's how we get those vertical blue bars. And then at the bottom, we have our algorithm for generating those smooth hidden transitions. And the idea here is that we have tons and tons of this raw footage, minutes of it. And so there are lots and lots of frames that we've seen of this person. And so in order to bridge the gap between two sides of a cut, we're going to steal other frames from other parts of the video and stick them in there, okay, to find a smooth path. And it turns into a hierarchical graph walking algorithm. Okay, so that's the basic approach. Here's one more result, just to show you. First jump cuts.
The basic idea that motivated this exhibit was birth, air.
Okay, and now here's our result, and
8th and 9th grade. And the basic idea that motivated this exhibit was birth, air.
Okay, so that's the kind of thing that we're able to do. And I didn't mention it, but in addition to bridging these cuts, we can also insert natural-looking pauses. So we can make the person pause in various places in the video, and that can be useful for highlighting different parts of the speech. Okay. So this was work that we did a few years ago, and the basic takeaway here is that you can get a high-quality transcript of the speech and then use cut, copy, paste on the speech, on the transcript, and propagate that to the video. All right? So you can essentially have a word processor be your interface for editing the video. Now, the one thing I haven't shown you, if we were to make a real word processor here, is, well, I should have the ability to type in new text, right? Type in new speech and generate the corresponding video. And so that's what I'm going to show you next. This is very recent work. And so this is the setup. So we have some original video of this person saying a sentence. And I'll play the original first.
The market closed today with Apple's stock price at $191.45 per share.
And now I'm just going to replace that number with a new number just by typing. Okay? And this is the video that we get.
The market closed today with Apple's stock price at $182.25 per share.
Okay, so that's what we're after in this work. And the way we do this is we're going to use a very different pipeline. So we have our input video, and we extract phonemes from it. So we track the we take the speech part of it and figure out where all the phonemes are. And then we also take that input video and track the head and build a 3D model out of the head. We use this thing called a blend shape model. And that's all work that we do with the raw video. Now, I didn't show you earlier, but we actually need about 20 to 40 minutes of that raw video, of that original video of her speaking. Okay? And then we also take an edit from the user. So here I'm replacing the word spider with the word fox. figure out where the phonemes of the word fox appear in the original video, right? She never said the word fox, but the phonemes for fox likely appear in the original video. And then we take the head parameters of the original video for those phonemes and blend them together to generate a new blend shape model for the video where she's saying fox. Okay, that generates a pretty good rendering of the lower part of the jaw, and we use the background for the rest, the background video for the rest. And then finally, we use a generative adversarial network to fill in the rest of the frame. Okay, so just to show you what that looks like again, here's an original video, and we're gonna then have her say something else.
O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
Here we replace wherefore art thou with why are you.
O Romeo, Romeo, why are you Romeo?
And here's another edit.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I love the smell of French toast in the morning.
Note that the synthesized words were not spoken by the subjects in the training video. The audio of the new words were separately recorded.
Okay, so that final point is important. Our work has focused on generating the frames, the visuals, the video, okay? We haven't done the audio. So in these examples that I've shown you, we've asked the actor to speak the audio, the new audio, okay, and added that in as a post-process, all right? I can show you some other things that we do with this. Here, we're generating the audio using an off-the-shelf voice generator. This is the one that was shown by Adobe a few years ago. You might have seen this.
She sells ice creams by the seashore.
We can also delete words.
Learning from examples and scientists over the last few decades. Learning from examples and scientists over the last few decades have.
Why yell or worry over silly items? Why yell over silly items?
Our results can be seamlessly composited into the original video sequence, which allows us to edit videos of arbitrary resolutions.
She sells ice cream by the seashore.
In addition to such edits, we can also synthesize full sentences just from text to give a virtual assistant a face.
She sells ice cream by the seashore.
Here we again show the frames where the face model parameters were retrieved from.
She sells ice cream by the seashore. She sells ice cream by the seashore. Did you hear about the crook who stole a calendar? No, I did not.
Full sentence synthesis enables our method to be used for video translation. Here, we enable our non-German speaking subject to speak German.
Ich spreche Deutsch.
Okay, so I think that gives you a sense of the kinds of results we're able to produce. Okay, so that's been one direction of our work, and again, the goal here is to allow a kind of video construction for storytelling, in this case, after you've captured the raw material. Another space that we've been very interested in is remixing video. And the reason we've been interested in this is because there is lots and lots of video now available on the web, okay? And in fact, sub-communities have formed around various types of remixing and redubbing this kind of video. And so we've built tools to kind of support this kind of remixing. And so the first work I'll show you is really about dubbing puppets. And the best way to show this is to just play the video. So here it is. Oops.
Hello, I am in the body of Big Bird. and I'm here to tell you about our work on dubbing puppets. Puppet videos are widely available online.
Oh, hi ho there, clock lovers. This is Kermit the Frog here for Sesame Street News.
Even though it cannot fly.
It designed Ultra Super Duper!
The abundance of such clips has led to a vibrant culture of dubbing and remixing.
Remix to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen.
No, you said I'm bringing heat on you? I gotta listen to people because of your fucking shit? You're ordering me out? You better get your own fucking army, pal.
Don't give me that. She don't make enough money, she can quit.
Let me just get this straight. You don't have a tip, huh?
For original videos, such as this one,
Oh, hi ho there, clock lovers.
the most convincing puppet performances align syllables in the vocal speech with closed, open, closed sequences of mouth movements we call visual syllables. But manually aligning new speech to dub a puppet video using existing tools like Premiere is extremely time-consuming. In this work, we present a much faster tool for dubbing puppets. Users start by providing a speech file and a corresponding transcript.
It's much easier, by the way, to act presidential.
Our tool breaks the speech into syllables. Users then select a puppet video that has been pre-segmented into visual syllables. Our tool provides two methods for this pre-segmentation: an appearance-based method that considers the positions of the puppet's lips, and an audio-based method that relies on the original puppet audio to serve as a proxy for the visual syllables.
Okay, and I'm just going to show you some results here.
Why is an empty champagne bottle like an orphan? Because it's lost its pop.
When Gregor Samsa woke one morning from uneasy dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a monstrous insect. He was lying on his hard, shell-like back, and when he lifted his head a little, he could see his dome-shaped brown body, banded with reinforcing arches, on top of which the blanket maintained its precarious hold. His numerous legs, pitifully thin in relation to the rest of his bulk, danced ineffectually before his eyes. What has happened to me, he thought. It was not a dream.
There's a fine line between fishing and just standing on the shore like an idiot.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's much easier, by the way, to act presidential than what we're doing here tonight, believe me. And I said, with the exception of the late, great Abraham Lincoln, I can be more presidential than any president that's ever held this office. That I can tell you. It's really...
Whenever I think of the past, it brings back so many memories. A lot of people are afraid of heights. Not me, I'm afraid of winds. If you think nobody cares about you, try missing a couple of payments.
Okay, so that's the kind of thing we can do with dubbing. I'll show you one last project here. So another space that we've got, well, so I should point out that so far we've looked at extracting different kinds of structure in the raw video and making use of that structure to edit it. So I showed you how to extract the transcript and use the transcript aligned to the speech. In this last project with dubbing, we again used kind of analysis of the phonemes and the mouth open-close positions. Here we're going to analyze music and the visuals together to extract something that we call a visual beat. So when people are moving around, or when objects are moving around, they sometimes make motions that are very similar to the kinds of dancing motions you would make as you're dancing to music. And we call that a visual beat. And once we've extracted that, we can do various kinds of things with it. So I'll play this video to show you.
There are about a dozen versions of this turtle video set to different music on YouTube.
But if we look closely, the rhythm of our turtle friend's movement is actually pretty irregular. So no matter what music we play, his dance moves will eventually fall off beat. Our technique can fix this by aligning visual rhythm with music, which lets us automatically tune the motion that we see to whatever song we want.
Cause baby, oh my, well it's unfair. Looking like that, make a gentleman stare.
The second thing our technique can do is manipulate acceleration to change aspects of visual style. This is a bit easier to see than it is to explain. For example, here we have some archival footage of dancers from the 1950s performing at Charleston. These are pretty well-trained dancers, so we don't really have to fix their timing. Instead, what we're going to do is retarget their motion to a more modern dance song and amplify visible acceleration to create a visual style that's a better fit for the new music. Our technique builds on the concept of visual beats, which are visible events that can be aligned with musical beats to create the appearance of dance. For example, this short segment of me speaking to the camera is not exactly musical. But each of my movements creates a different visual beat, and by traversing those beats, moving forward and backward in time with music, we can create dance. Now, a skilled video editor could probably create something like this by hand. But by understanding and automating the process, we can scale it to creative applications that would be impractical with traditional tools. For example, let's say we wanted to search through hours of C-SPAN footage to find moments of accidental dancing, where a politician's movement temporarily takes on the rhythm of music that no one can hear. With our algorithm, we can quickly search through large amounts of video to find these moments, and then dancify them to create a political dance party.
Okay, I don't think I have time to describe exactly how this works, but the basic idea is that we're analyzing the optical flow to find sharp changes in acceleration. Those correspond to beats, and then we align those to music. So, what I will do is show you one last example here.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady.
Okay, I'll skip this one. So we finally found something to do with all of the video of Salman that we have. And just to end here, so the basic idea here is to extract domain-specific structure and use that to facilitate editing. There are lots of other domains that we're interested in, and really the question is, what is the right underlying representation? I don't think frames are the right representation, and so we're continuing to think about this. These are all the people, in particular the students who did the work that I showed you today. I'm just speaking for them. And if you're interested in any of this, there's a lot more on our website, including access to some of the tools that I showed you today. And with that, if there's time for questions, I'll take questions.
Yeah, we'll do maybe just one right here.
So you started with the short dance video of your son.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, the question remains, because while for storytelling you did give a very complete solution,
Mhm.
I felt you didn't really address the question with these snippets of video that many parents have everywhere.
Mhm.
What's the path forward? What you could do for text, you can't do it here. So even to identify where, I understand your powerful tool to morph things, but to get to that point, how we get to it was left unanswered.
Yeah, so I think part of it is identifying the right underlying structures, right? So in the video of someone who is moving around, maybe one of the right kinds of structures to extract is this beat level structure. Okay, so maybe, and that we're going to leave up to the creators. Our goal is to really make tools that will facilitate creation, but we still believe in having an author in the process. Okay, so the author gets to decide how he's going to put together the different pieces that we provide.
Thank you very much.